everybody, and welcome back to Autumn Leigh at Home. I'm Autumn Leigh if you're new. Today we are going to start an extreme house declutter where I take one room a week and go through every item and start decluttering. Please follow along with me as we go ahead and get started. If you are new to this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Thank you so much for joining me, and you are welcome to put these videos on while you maybe get inspired, I hope, to declutter your own house. Just let it play in the background. But we're going to get started in my kids' upstairs playroom. We have a miniature downstairs playroom that I really want to try to transition all the items up to this one and turn that one into something else. So to do that, I thought it would be good to start with this one, and we'll do that one next time. But today, this is probably going to be my biggest project, is trying to go through the books and decide what to do. I did a somewhat smaller declutter back in the early fall, but I would need to go through everything all over again because things have definitely, changed. My kids' likes have changed, things they play with have changed. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. This extreme home declutter is something that I've actually been really looking forward to and dreading all at the same time. It can be so overwhelming going through all of these, and you get decision fatigue where you're trying to decide, okay, what am I keeping? What are we getting rid of? All of those things. And one of the big questions that I ask myself, especially this go round, because I want to really do a deep declutter, not just, getting rid of the occasional item. I'm trying to dig a little deeper. So I've been watching videos like Dawn with Minimal Mom and other YouTube channels that are out there that are just really good inspiration for decluttering, and I'm trying to encourage myself to do that deep declutter. But ultimately, I wanted to ask myself, what's my why? Why am I doing this? I'm not a minimalist, nor do I claim to be a minimalist. We are completely okay with not being completely minimal. However, I also don't like clutter, and I'm sure that there are people out there watching this channel that, may be the same way. They're not necessarily all the way to a minimalist, but they don't like having a lot of clutter. The more clutter we have, the more items we have, the more stressed I feel all the time. And this is something that I want to change. So trying to think through my why, and one of the things that really helps me with that is the whole concept of last time when we moved, we had to pay somebody to move all of our stuff just because we needed the help to do it. And asking, once we got to our new house, realizing that there were so many items that we really didn't need to bring to the house with us, we ended up paying somebody to move those items from our old house to this house. And looking back, I really wish that I had gone through our stuff and really pared back what all we really wanted to keep versus what we had and what we had brought to the new house. Now, with that idea and taking that thought of, okay, while I'm decluttering, asking myself, is this something that is worth me paying somebody else to move and taking the time to pack it up, move it to another house? Are we moving right now? No, we're not. But the idea and the concept is still there of, is it worth me keeping? If it's not worth me paying somebody else to move, then how valuable is this item to me or my family? Are my kids actually playing with this item? Not just within the last year, not just once within the last year, but really, are they playing with it multiple times a week? That's what I'm going to try to ask myself. And it may take more than one trip through to do that. I've went through all of the books one time already. These are the ones right here that I plan to keep. And then these right here, all of this, for the most part, except maybe a couple of things down there, are the ones I plan to get rid of. Now, while I'm putting them back on the shelf, I plan to go through these a second time because I really want to dwindle these down as much as possible. All of my kids have books in their bedrooms as well. So my boys share a room and my girls share a room. And both of those rooms have books in them. And I know that those end up being the favorite books. So that actually gives me a lot of information to work with while trying to decide which books to keep, because it also tells me that these are the ones that either they don't care for or they totally forgot were out here just because they couldn't find them amongst the ones that they don't care for. I know once I finally went through all of these and my sons came in the house, they got so excited because they both found immediately books that they were excited to try to read and look through. As soon as they came in and looked at the bookshelf, they were able to find those. So now that I'm able to kind of weed out the ones that they don't really care for, it gives them the opportunity to have fresh eyes for the ones that they do like. Once I go to the kids' rooms, I will also go through those books and weed out ones that they just don't really love anymore, or maybe that they got tired of reading, that they've read a lot. But ultimately, my goal is I still want some books here. I just don't want it to be so overwhelming that they can't find ones that they actually enjoy. Because there were a lot of books on the shelf. I've never seen any of them read. None of them have ever reached for them. And to be fair, I don't even reach for them when I go to sit down to read with my kids. So those are the ones that I really wanted to focus on getting rid of while I was going through all of the books. While I was working on the books, which this is everything that we are getting rid of off the bookshelf, you can tell we made a lot more space. It looks so much better. And I was even able to fit this Barbie bin on there as well and get it up off the floor. So we will get rid of all of this right here. And I'm going to go through it and see which ones I want to donate versus which ones we just want to kind of throw away. Most of it will be donations, but like the ones over here are just so well loved that I'm not gonna try to donate. And then while I was doing that, I had hubby go through all of the movies that we had, and these are all the ones we're getting rid of, and we're only keeping these because we don't really have much of a DVD player. We have a couple upstairs, so if for whatever reason we wanted to, say we lost internet or something like we did back when Hurricane Helene hit, we were able to watch movies and DVDs. So we do want to keep a few, but this is primarily what we're keeping. All of this is going away. For all those mamas out there that have kiddos that love Legos, what are your tips and tricks for this? Because my son absolutely loves the Lego sets, like the Harry Potter ones, the Minecraft ones, whatever it may be. And they're really nice sets. They come with all these tiny little pieces. He gets the ones that are massive where you can build, create. They have working clocks, all kinds of stuff. And he will literally sit there for an entire day and completely finish it all in one day, maybe two. But then the problem that I've run into is that then it sits on a shelf and he doesn't actually play with it. He just likes looking at it. And somehow all the pieces just start breaking off. And then I end up with all these tiny little pieces where the sets aren't even matching anymore. And so what I've ended up doing is whatever pieces break off, I put them in our Lego container, which this is the best thing off Amazon. It has a parachute piece where you could pour them out and then dump them right back into the same container. So my rule of thumb is that I've kind of gotten to the point where if it doesn't fit in here, it's time to let some go. So every once in a while, I will just take a gallon-sized bag, fill it up, and then that way I'm making room for some more. But as you can see, I left the pieces that were still kind of intact, like the little Harry Potter houses and stuff like that. But again, I don't really know what to do with those. Do you just showcase them in your kids' rooms? Do they play with them? What are your tips and tricks for the Lego pieces? Because right now, I think mine just end up he looks at them, but he doesn't use the extra Lego pieces to like create. But I feel guilty getting rid of them because he truly loves these Lego things and is heartbroken when I actually get rid of them. So I don't know if that's just a conversation I need to be having with him that, it's fun to make it. Let's take a picture together and then let it go. But
ultimately, put down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. For now, this is kind of what we've landed on, is keeping a couple of the sets that are still put together, then putting all of the other Lego pieces in that container. I will put a playlist on the end of this video as well as down in the description of a declutter playlist. And a lot of the videos you will see, I actually use a rule of 3. And what that means is I love to get my kids involved in the decluttering process during the smaller declutter days where my goal isn't for the same as today. Like today, my goal is to touch everything, decide whether I want to get rid of it or keep it. This is a deep, big declutter day. However, in the past, usually definitely before Christmas, usually I do it 2 or 3 times a year, where I like to bring my kids into the playroom or their room or whatever it may be and ask them to choose 3 items. So I have 4 kids, and if each one chooses 3 items, that's 12 items that I'm getting rid of out of that room. So it's not a deep declutter, but it does actually make a pretty big difference. If they choose to pick literally the tiniest object, then I usually make them pick something else too. But sometimes I will do that, and then I'll actually ask them to go back through and do 3 more, because it allows your kids to participate in the decluttering process and practice decluttering themselves and learn kind of how to do that, but also in a way that helps them to kind of categorize it instead of looking at the whole room all at one time and saying, oh, this is a lot of stuff, I got to decide about every item. They can literally look at the room and say, oh, well, I don't play with these 3 things. Let's go ahead and get rid of those.
I have these 4 bins here, but they're all very specifically designated to certain items. So I don't really need to go through them because these are all magnets and I plan to keep those. Though I may bring them out and rotate them through. So like, haven't decided how I'm going to organize this whole section once I bring everything from downstairs up. But this is all the marble runs, which they love to play with and build stuff. And then this is like the little kind of trinket stuff. So like magnet set right here, and then connect it, and as well as like the circuit board type stuff that my other son loves to play with. So the one that was just helping me. So those are his favorite bins right here. So I'm just going to leave those for now. And then this is cars, which I may get rid of these. I haven't decided because nobody really plays with these very often. And then Nerf gun bullets and pieces, which I still need to go through our other toy bin over here because we do have a lot of Nerf pieces that could go in here. So I might, once I organize this section, which is next, I'll put all the pieces that I find in here. And I think I'm just going to get rid of this because I don't really see them play with it very often.
For those of you wondering what this thing is, it's my son's jiu-jitsu dummy that he practices jiu-jitsu moves on. But I can tell you, I purposely put it behind the couch because every time I walk through this playroom or by the playroom through the hall, I always thought that it was somebody sitting there staring at me, and it scared me every single time. So we had to find a better place for it. Up until recently, the boys mainly used the upstairs playroom and the girls used the downstairs one. That's kind of how we sectioned off the toys because the older boys are older and they're both boys. The girls are younger and they're both girls. So they had the younger girl toys. So it was just easier to kind of divide it that way. Plus, when my husband's on night shift and when he was on night shift, we kind of needed the downstairs playroom for the younger ones because they didn't really know how to stay as quiet as easily. Now we don't need to do that quite as much. So it's easier now that we can kind of move everything upstairs and there just be one room and they all get to play in the same room, which is nice because the girls are getting older. It is a little sad because that also means less toys, but for the boys anyway, but the girls are still doing pretty good. Now that I've finally got everything sectioned off, I can go through and donate the ones we need to.
I am finished and my kids are in from school. So this is where we're tucking their backpacks. This is stuff that am donating and or gonna try to sell just because Legos sell really well. So do Barbies and cars and some of the books. So I went through and put all the other stuff in my car, but this is the bin of stuff that I will attempt to sell first. And I will make one pass of trying to sell it. If it doesn't work after one pass of trying to sell, then we'll just take it straight to the donation center. And then everything else, we are finally finished. Yay. It looks so much better than when we started. The Legos over here, I had originally up here, but I decided to move them to here for now until I at least, move stuff up here from downstairs. We'll see if they stay there or not, but I may end up reorganizing. But for now, I really like the way that turned out. Everything, I got some of the items up off the ground, got rid of one of the bins, and definitely looks less cluttered than it did before at least. Guys, we are finished. Look how much better. We were able to declutter 257 solid items from this room. That is a lot of stuff, and that's not even including the Legos, counting every little Lego piece or every car or every piece of trash, and I have a whole full bag of trash. So if we were really truly counting all of that, it would be far more than that, but we're gonna say 257 solid pieces, and this is just the first room. This is just the start. I'm hoping to go throughout my house, so you are welcome to follow along with me as I pick a room each time. I am gonna have other videos sprinkled in between because sometimes I might need a break of the mental needing to think through all of the sorting and everything. But for now, I really truly want to try to declutter my house. This makes me feel so much better. I hope it is an inspiration for you guys that it doesn't have to be perfect, but anything is better than nothing, especially with the Christmas season coming up. But I truly appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I hope to see you guys next time.